correct, how would a judge or magistrate benefit from a delay in a case? I can understand how maybe one side of a case where the complainant and or the defendant is enjoying a delay, how would a judge benefit?
When a judge is a litigant, they benefit like any other litigant.
Okay.
So you are invited by the Judicial Service Commission after they receive a complaint.
Okay.
JSC receive a complaint. When they receive a complaint, because it's their job to deal with complaints and even to investigate, sometimes they can do it on their own motion, what we call in law suo motu. On their own motion, they can investigate. Once they do that, they determine whether this particular matter has reached a level where we should ask the judge or magistrate to respond. So then they write to the judge or the magistrate and they say, please respond. Some of them, even instead of responding, they rush to court. They get an order to stop JSC from even asking them to respond. Can you imagine? So it's like you don't even want to go on record with what is your response to the allegation against you.
Didn't we see such a case with the Chief Justice herself?
Unfortunately, most of the judges of the Supreme Court are in the list of the courts you are going to target for the indefinite boycott, because they also last year were complaints were raised against them, and they each went to court individually. 6 of them, they got court orders to stop JSC from even getting their response to the complaint. No, we'll not even give our response for JSC to do its job. So you see, that is quite problematic. It's an approach in which the judge becomes like a god with a small g. They can't be questioned. You see, our constitution believes everyone must be accountable. They must respond. We are not telling them to respond on social media. We are not telling them to respond in any other forum. We are saying respond to that organ that has been put in place with your peers to process these responses. You know the composition of the Judicial Service Commission. It includes the Chief Justice. Of course, she will not be able to sit if the matter is touching on her directly. A judge of the Supreme Court, a judge of the Court of Appeal, a judge of the High Court, a magistrate, 2 representatives of LSK, Attorney General, someone from Public Service Commission representing Public Service Commission, and then 2 members of the public appointed by the President or selected by the President. So the point is, Kenyans in 2010 came up with a structure of a Judicial Service Commission that is a body that has significant seniority and kind of like peers to be able to process complaints against judges, recognizing that there is need to balance between independence and accountability. That's what they are meant to do. So if some of the judges, a handful of them, are not ready to subject themselves to JSC, that becomes one of the diseases, cancer, that has been spreading, damaging the entire infrastructure of accountability in the judiciary.
I'd like to ask one question before we go to a break. And Wakili, we're talking about an arm of government which a lot of people in the recent past have referenced as maybe the one arm at this point that can actually be a source of hope. But what I hear you saying is that it's possible that they feel as though they're above the law.
Let me put it this way. As lawyers and as the Law Society of Kenya, we have a lot of confidence in the judiciary.
Okay.
And we believe very strongly that the judiciary is the last recourse for Kenyans. We cannot afford to have the judiciary disintegrate its integrity, its authority, its independence, and its accountability. It is precisely because we have so much hope and confidence in the judiciary that we are trying to get right these challenges that the judiciary is facing so that it continues to be fit for purpose. So let there be no doubt, we practice in the courts on a daily basis. And the reason we go to courts, the reason we advise our clients, litigants, to go to court is we believe that is where they can get the ultimate remedy. But the judiciary, like any other institution, may have some weaknesses which need to be resolved. So the ones we are pointing out are the persistent and serious ones that we need to deal with very quickly, especially before we go to 2027 elections, because the judiciary needs to be at the level of the highest confidence and highest strength as we are approaching that very politically intense period. So we think this is the right time for the judiciary to put their house in order, to fully be consistent with the constitutional architecture. And of course, for us lawyers, we'll continue supporting the judiciary where they need to be supported and calling them out where they need to be called out, because that is how you build institutions.